Hey guys, it's Trish from Trish's Card Club, live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Happy Monday night, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, I should start off by saying that we got to watch our last football game of the season yesterday. Now, if you were a Philadelphia fan, it was a great game. If you were not a Philadelphia fan, it was an awful game. It was so poorly played. I was shocked, and so were a ton of other people. I listened to a lot of sports talk radio, and nobody had a lot of empathy for the Chiefs because they just played so awful. I don't know what happened, and nobody seems to know. So let me welcome some people that are coming on: Karen and Mary, Anne-Marie, and Zaina, I think, from the UK. Well, that's exciting. Zaina, what time is it where you are? My gosh, girl, I think it's either really late or really early. I'm not sure which. And Angela, thanks for joining from the UK. That's exciting. What am I going to say? Let me just go over the details of who I am and what I do. And 1 a.m. Are you a night owl, girl? Because I am not a night owl. I am a morning sleep. I am a go to bed early and get up early kind of person. So I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator now for 24 years. In January, I think February of 2000, I signed up and I have been a demonstrator. I have YouTube and Facebook channels called Trish's Card Club. You can shop with me online 24/7 at trishann.stampinup.net. That's for US only, though, Zara. So just so you'll know that, you have to use a European demonstrator if you see some things that you want to get tonight. Hey, Miss Polly where are you from, Holly? A long nap early. Okay, well, that makes good sense. Well, I'm glad you're up and you can join us because I am super excited about the card that I'm going to be doing tonight, you guys. We did this card class. We did this in my card class, and the ladies loved it. And I think part of the reason why they loved it is because we used our aqua painters, and it's fun to watercolor. Watercoloring is very forgiving. Hey, Northern California, well, welcome. I really appreciate that you are spending some Monday night with us. I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to get right to the project. Couple little, just little things. I don't like to do too many announcements before because I like to respect people's time because I figure they can always watch the announcements after. But our mini catalog is live, and it's full of some really pretty new product things that we haven't had before. So, and really spring colors, which if you live in the Northeast or where I live, it's cold. And so it's really nice to have some nice bright colors. And then celebrations going on. So for every $60 in product that you purchase, you can pick some free product from Stampin' Up! So those are two really cool things that are just putting it out there for you guys to know. So we are going to be using Mixed Florals as our stamp set tonight. This is a photopolymer stamp set, and it comes with the die. I did not buy the dies. You can get the dies and buy it as a bundle. I just chose not to. I didn't feel like I needed them based on how I was going to use the stamp set. Typically, I buy the dies, but this is one where I was like, I can get quite a few cards made without having to use the stamp set, without having to use the dies. Sorry. So what I did is I took the daisy stamp, and I'm going to take some Memento ink, and I'm going to ink this up real good. Now, let me give you a little bit of background on the inks and how we use them. Typically, I should show you. This is the aqua painter that I'm going to be using. So it unscrews like this. Do it sideways so you can see it. And then you fill water in here. And so this is filled with water. So you can kind of, you can see the water. And then you're going to put that back on. And they come in packs of 3, and there's 3 different sizes. And we're just going to use one tonight. And I'm going to show you how you just go between ink colors. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is, okay, so I am using Memento ink because Memento ink is the best ink for photopolymer stamps. With watercoloring, it's better to use Stays-On ink. But Stays-On ink is not really friendly to photopolymer stamps. So I'm going to show you how I account for that. So I'm going to get this nice and inked up with my Memento ink. And then I'm going to get a piece of watercolor paper. And this is because it's so forgiving. And that's why I want to use watercolor paper. So I'm just going to put that down. I must have ink on my hands because did you see I got ink on that? So let me flip that over and try not to get any more ink on my project. And then I'm just going to place this down. And then I'm just going to hold it. And by holding it and pressing firmly with my hand, it allows the ink to absorb into the watercolor paper. Watercolor paper is very thick. It's very fibrous. So you really want to hold it, spend some time holding it down so that you can get as much ink onto the paper as possible. And I think I've done that. And you come up with this really beautiful impression. Now let's see if I can get a little bit closer so you can see a little bit easier. And then I'm going to put that stamp to the side. So tonight I'm also using paper from the same suite, Mixed Media Suite. This paper is this whole suite, the stamp set, the die, and the stamp set, the dies, and the paper are on online exclusive. So they're not going to be in a catalog. So you'd have to go to Stampin'UP.com or TrishN@Stampin'UP.com and click on shop and then click on online exclusives to see this suite. So what was I telling you about? Oh, so I totally lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. For you guys that have come for the first time, these are unedited videos, so you just get me raw. You just get me as I am. So I'm just telling you. I don't fancy up my videos after I record them. I just post them and just figure I'm human and mistakes and all, but I have a love and a passion for card making and for sending cards and blessing people because I think that's what cards really do. So I'm going to be using Poppy Parade and Mossy Meadow, and I want to get some ink on the top cover of this ink pad. So I'm just going to squeeze it in my hands like this. And then that should give me some ink right there. That's the ink that I want from my Poppy Parade, and my green Mossy Meadow is going to be much messier because we've been using it for the last couple of days in my stamp classes. So there's my ink for that. The other thing that you want to have handy is a paper towel square or something that that can absorb the water. So I'm going to be taking my water painters and I'm going to squeeze. There's a little place right here that says push. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you're just going to squeeze it until you get water to come out onto the paper towel. And you'll see it once see, there it is. Do you see the water? So now I've got my water painter primed. So I've got water on it. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in here. Now I want it a little bit, I want my ink a little bit diluted. So I just squeezed a little bit so you can see, so I can get some water in there. So that's going to be nice and wet. And that's what I wanted. Now with watercoloring, less is always more. Okay. So go back. So start with little and go back to add layers. So I'm going to take a little bit of my ink off by just touching my paper towel. And then let me get that out of the way. And then I'm just going to start here and I'm just going to color in along here. And that is literally all I'm doing. Now, with watercolor painting, some people will be meticulous. I leave a lot of white space, just like Van Gogh. I leave a lot of white space. And I'm trying, and somewhat successfully, not to touch too much of the black ink so it doesn't run. But if it does run and it gets a little blurry, I don't worry about that. I don't lose any sleep over that. Some people will be a little bit more meticulous than me, but my attitude is this card is going to bless someone, even if it's not perfect. And that's the most important part. Someone is going to get blessed by receiving this card. So I'm just putting that out there. So I'm going to finish this color, and you can see well, I don't know if you can see or not, but it's blurring a little bit right there where the black ink got wet. Not a problem. Looks completely fine to me. I don't even worry about it. So I'm going to just get a little more ink on these leaves. Then I'm going to go down to this flower and I'm going to paint this one in. Need a little bit more paint. A little bit more ink, I should say. And we're also going to be using blends because I didn't have all the colors, or I was trying to do, and I had all the colors in ink because I have all the Stampin' Up! Colors. So that's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say was that I wanted to be a little bit faster in process, and it takes a little bit longer to use the water painters. So I wanted to use the blending pens in addition to that. So that is done. Now, if I wanted to, what I could do is I would go over to here. See how this is very watered down and this is full concentration of ink. I could pick up some full concentration of ink and I could come over here and just shadow a little bit along the edges to give the color, to give the flower a little bit of depth. Can you see the difference? I'll hold it up after I do this flower. The top flower, you might not notice it as much because I did it a little bit darker, but can you see the difference where I have painted over on the side more than that. So that's just to shadow it. If you're good at that, go for it. If you're not good at it, don't worry about it. It's not gonna, you're not in any way gonna not achieve the look that you want by worrying about whether you shadow or not. Now, let me make this disclaimer. There are other demonstrators out there that are phenomenal at shading. You're not going to get that from me. Again, my plan is to get the card in the mail. So look around if you really want to learn about shading, and just there'll be other demonstrators that could really teach you that. It's just not my gifting. Hey, Miss Judy, thanks for joining. So now I want to go from this Poppy Parade color to my green. So the way that I do that is I simply take my water painter and I just squeeze it until it runs clear. Once it runs clear, I'm ready to use a different paint color. That's it. That's literally how quick it is. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to drop a little bit of water. I'm just squeezing it to get a little drop of water in here, just so it's not so, what do I want to say? So it's more forgiving, so I can have a little bit of more grace. And I'm just going to paint the stems and the leaves with Mossy Meadow, because that's the color of that's in the Designer Series paper that we're going to be using. Do you guys see how quickly I'm doing this? Like I'm not fussying with it at all. My goal is just to fill in where I can, where I feel like by my eye that there should be some color. I'm sort of staying in the lines, but sort of not either. I don't worry about that as much. Like I said, watercoloring is very, very forgiving. You can be as meticulous or as unmeticulous as you want. And I am an unmeticulous, kind of non-fussy watercolor painter. So let me get some more leaves done up here. And I love all the extra white space that's in the painting, because that allows it's like a reflection of the light. And I love that look. Okay, so there's that. Now this is done. So in order to clean it, it's the same thing. Just squeeze some water on it, rub it back and forth till it gets dry, and then you're done. So that's one of the brushes. And then this is the second brush. You see a fatter tip. And then I don't have the third brush on my desk, but it's a much fatter tip. So you get all three of them with each different tip. So that's good. Okay, that's it for the watercolor and the water painters. Now I'm going to go over to some blender pens. And I'm just going to, there's two ends to the blender pen. I am going to use, not that one, that's the more fine point tip. I'm going to use this tip because it's a little bit more forgiving. And I'm just going to color in the flowers because I'm picking up the colors of, again, of the Designer Series paper. So there's, just so you can have a reference point, there's the Designer Series paper. So I'm just picking up the flowers colors, or the colors that are in the paper, so that we can have a nice tie-in. And do you see how much quicker it is to use the blender pen to do that? The blender pen is the same way. There's a demonstrator named Patty Bennett who's phenomenal at shading with the blender pens. So if you want to Google her, Patty Bennett, she's really, really good. But it's not a priority for me, so I just color in like that and consider it. And I leave lots of whites. Oops, did you see that? That's a really messed up blender pen. But you know what I save this for, you guys? When I want to color my pearls, I just use that messy end and it colors my pearls to whatever color I need them. They work great. So let me get a color in on that. And now, in a very short period of time, I think I have a beautiful image that I'm ready to assemble my card with. So I just think that is so, so pretty. So I used a Mossy Meadow card base, and I'll fold that, and I'll score it if I can get my hands on my scoring tool. Not my scoring tool, sorry, my bone folder, not to score it. Okay, let me flip that over. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Designer Series paper down. Again, if I can find my glue. There we go. Thanks, Judy. Yeah. If you came on a little bit late, I talked already a little bit about the football game and how disappointing it was. It was a disappointing ending to a very good season. But I've already started watching golf. So I watched golf on Saturday while I was making some stamping, doing some stamping. And that was a lot of fun. Okay, now I'm going to take my watercolor paper, and I'm going to back it up on some cardstock that is also Poppy Parade, just again to bring a little bit of the color out. So now with watercolor paper, it's quite thick. So you want to be generous with your glue so it adheres to it quite well. It's kind of like when you use an embossing folder and you texturize the paper. You want to use a bit more glue. Now I see something that I am going to fix. Do you see, you guys, how all three sides, and then I have this much wider space down here? I am going to grab some scissors, which I know I have, and trim that down. I should be using my cutter, but it's nowhere to be found, and I'm not going to make you guys wait, so I'm just going to hand trim it like that. So there, I'm going to take that like that. I'm going to put that on there with some mono, which ran out. Well, that's not good, but I have more, no worries. Plenty to be found on the mono. There we go. And I'm off-centering this a little bit to the left. Might be your right, but it's my left. Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, Super Bowl was a disaster, Judy. It was a complete disaster. So isn't that so pretty? Then what I did is I took our double oval punch, and I've already pre-punched out some ovals. And I'm just using a birthday wishes stamp. When I demo you guys, you can use any word stamps that you have in your stash. I'm assuming you have word stamps in your stash if you're watching me. So I'm not worried too much if it's a current or not current. I just really want to make sure that I have a finished product. So that's the word stamp. Now on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on here like that. Then I'm going to take my dimensionals and I'm going to put that on with dimensionals like this. Now on this project, what my goal was to use up as much of the Designer Series papers as I could for my class. In the Designer Series papers, there's 6 patterns and they coordinate, and I don't like to have a lot of leftover patterns. So, oops, let me put that in the right direction. So I did this right here, covers up a little bit of the stem, but it still looks really pretty. So I did that. Then the next thing I did is I took my inside layer, which I don't have out, so let me go grab one. And I took a little extra piece of this Designer Series paper, and I'm going to put that on my inside layer like this. And I like to leave a little space on the bottom. Some people put it right to the bottom. I like to leave a little bit of space. And sometimes when I'm feeling super creative, I'll put it at the top. So it just depends. But for this one, I'm going to put it at the bottom. And then I have something kind of funny to tell you guys. This, I thought it was so funny. And I'm just going to trim it just to make it even. Okay. And then I'm going to glue this onto my card. Like this. Then, as I said, I wanted to use up as much, and I apologize that I can't show you the paper. It's just that I used most of it up in my class. So I wanted to use as much as I could of the paper. So to coordinate, it's hard to see. Is this? Yeah, it's hard to see in the lighting, but this really does coordinate nice with this paper. This is another piece that was of Design Series paper that's in this packet. And so what I did with that is I took my, I cut it up. And I'm going to use it as an envelope flap. So the ladies, when they made the cards, got every possible, well, yeah, that's how I want to go. So this is just 3 inches by 6. And I put the tape on the flap of the envelope. Then you just line it up to the edge of the Designer Series paper. Can you see what I'm doing, you guys? Because I'm not hitting the edge because it's stuck. Okay, let me try that again. Oh, my goodness. I am just really fighting that. Normally, I could just slap it down there and call it a day, but I'm not doing that tonight at all. Okay. Woo! That was crazy. And then you just trim it around the edge. Just trim off the extra around the edge. So this is what I was going to tell you that I thought you guys would think is kind of funny. I was hoping I had a stamp on my desk that I could do it with because it would make so much more sense. I'm going to see if I can reach around and grab a stamp so I can demonstrate what I thought was just so funny. Earlier tonight, I told you guys I've been doing this for 24 years. Thank you, Holly. That was really nice of you to share that. So here's this. And then I typically do my word stamps on the inside in black. Let me see if I can quickly grab a stamp. I'm going to try to find something really fast. Okay. I found a stamp set that I just wanted to grab really fast because I usually, when I do my inside words, put my words right in the middle of the card. But I realize what ends up happening when I do that is I write Dear Mary or something like that. And then I have this big space and then I have my word stamp and then I have this little tiny space to write my note. No, 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 no. Let me start all over again. I am going to use just want to send some. Now, this is not a good example because this stamp is so big. But I'm going to do it anyway because that actually it's a good stamp for a birthday. Just want to send some happy thoughts your way. So I'll take that. I need a block to do this with. So normally what I would do, you guys, is I would stamp this right in the middle, just like that. And see how I don't leave myself very much space, but I leave all the space for the Dear Mary up here. So I realized on Saturday, for the first time in 24 years, that I'm stamping in the wrong location. I know, 24 years, people, 24 years. Thank you, Holly, for subscribing. It told me that you subscribed, and that's fantastic. And I, in case you want to know why, because one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of editing in my video is because in order to do some fun things live, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. So thank you for subscribing and helping me reach my goal. That's my goal this year, is to get to 1,000 subscribers. So now I'm going to put this way up here. You guys, I don't know why I didn't realize this after 24 years of making cards, but I honest and truly did not realize this. Okay, so Dear Mary's going to fit up just perfectly up there, and then I'll have all this space to write my message. So that, you guys, is the card that we're making tonight using Mixed Florals, and I love this stamp set. I highly encourage you, if you love flowers, this is a great stamp set to get. I'm hoping that by putting it in the middle, I can get a good final image for my my videos. One of the many things that I want to do. Thank you very much, Zaina. I think I'm having a hard time seeing it. Hey, Carrie, I didn't even notice you were there. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm such a professional. Oh, I wish. You guys, Carrie Todd has a stamp page called Stamp with CT. She is an amazing demonstrator out of Texas. I don't know how to say the name of her city. So, oh, okay. Anna, I got it. My sister's name is, she goes by Anna. So that I can do. Thank you. That makes it much easier to pronounce. Thanks, Anna. Let me get back to Carrie. So if you're looking for some really good inspiration and some wonderful, wonderful videos, look on Facebook for Stamp with CT. And one of the things that I love about Carrie's videos is she's very calm, very methodical when she does her. She's not all over the board, kind of like I can be. So I'll just put a shout out to Carrie's way, because she also does a monthly-ish, maybe every 6 weeks online bingo event that if you're interested, message me on and I will tell you all about it. It is so much fun. They have the best prizes. It's all Stampin' Up product. They're super generous. Carrie and her husband do it, and they're super generous. And they're just really, really good people. So I'll put a little plug in there for Carrie. All right, you guys, I think that's everything. I am always, always grateful. So I was reading some notes. I'm always very, very grateful that you spend some of your Monday night with me. Even though we're sort of in mourning that football's over, and we're rejoicing that golf is starting. So those are all good things. I will be here next week, and what else can I say? Around here, we make it and we mail it. That's our slogan. So please try to find some time this week to craft and send a card. You can totally change someone's life by sending them a card, letting them know that you think about them. It doesn't have to just be a special occasion. Remember, you guys, you can send a card to a girlfriend just to say, hey, I was thinking about you today. You don't even have to say anything else. That will bless them, I promise you. But birthdays are special, so it's really good to send out a good special event. My friends are telling me that I need to talk about crafts, chicks, and chocolate. You guys, I cannot put my sign up, but I can give you a little a quick announcement, just a reminder announcement. In June on the 14th in Orlando, Florida, we are doing a crafts, chicks, and chocolate gathering. It's an event that Karen and I put on together. This is going to be our 3rd year. We have so many cool things scheduled for this year that we've never done in the past. And we want everyone that physically can possibly come to come. So I will talk about that more next week when I can put up my sign and give you all the details on that. So I don't want to do it every week because then I'm afraid I'll drive you crazy with it. But hopefully you're saving your pennies. It's $100 for the day. It includes card making and crafts and lunch and a goodie bag, a welcome goodie bag, and a lot of other things that we have never done in the past. So it's going to be worth every penny, and it's going to be so much fun. So, all right, you guys. Oh, I know it is a bit too far for you, Zaina, but I would love it if you could come. But you don't know. You never know what could happen for our out-of-town folks. We might have something up our sleeves. Might be dropping a little hint there, just a little hint. All right, you guys, I love you guys. I appreciate so much your time. I hope you have a good week. Remember, we make it and we mail it, so get stamping this week, and I'll be back here next Monday night, same time. Have a good week, everybody. Bye now.